Today we are going to look at combining like terms and then distributing over a parenthesis. Again, this is review. This is stuff you covered in Algebra 1, but we will need it, so we want to make sure we go back over it. So when you are solving equations, always remember to combine like terms. This could include adding and subtracting like terms on the same side of an equal sign. If they're on the same side, you put them together. If they're on different sides, you got to move one across, and that's what we talked about last time. If you have parentheses, you need to distribute across that. We'll review that. And then remember, all your variables need to be on one side of the equation before you can divide or multiply. We talked about that a little bit last time, but we'll get more into it here in a moment. So let's go ahead and do some of these examples. So for 1a, you can see on the left, remember combining like terms, they have to be on the same side of the equal sign. So if you want to draw a big line down the equals to separate them, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to. I'm usually not going to do it. But you can see we've got a +8 and a +8. Those are both what we call constants. They don't have a variable attached to them, so they go together. And 8 + 8 is 16, so this becomes 3x + 16 = 1. Now it's just like those two-step equations we did last time. We'll subtract 16 from both sides, so 3x = -15. Then we'll divide both sides by 3. So x will be -5. For b, we've got a 1n and a 5n. Remember, that is one. If it's just the variable by itself, that is 1n. So 1n plus 5n, that's going to be 6n. We bring down the -1, bring down the 23. To get rid of the -1, we'll add 1 to both sides. So we get 6n = 24. Then we'll divide both sides by 6 to get n = 4. Now these next two get a little bit more complicated. I'm still going to do my line down the middle for right now. On the left side, we've got one term with a variable and one term without. We can't put those together. Okay, they either all have to have the variable or all not have to have the variable. So on the right side though, there we've got two terms that both have a v, so we can combine those. So 2v - 4 comes down, the 11 comes down, and we've got -5v plus 2v. -5 plus 2 is -3, and make sure to write that v after that. Now we need to move our v's to one side and our constants to the other. So let's add 3v to both sides. That will give us 5v - 4 = 11. Then we're going to get rid of the -4, so that will be +4 to both sides. 5v = 15. And this is 5 times v, so we'll divide by 5 and we'll get v = 3. For example 1d, we've got 5x plus 1x on that side. The other side we don't have any like terms. So let's bring down our -2. 5 plus 1 is 6, so this is plus 6x. Then equals 5x - 8. Now it's time to start moving stuff around. We want to move the 5x to the left side. By the way, it doesn't matter which side you move them to, as long as your variables are on one side and your constants are on the other. So -2 plus 1x equals -8. Don't forget this negative. It's really easy to forget that this was -8, so it becomes -8. So be careful as you're writing these down. To get rid of this -2, we'll add 2 to both sides. So x is -6. 6. All right, now distributing. Remember, when you want to distribute, that means, in this case, like that -5 gets multiplied by every term in the parenthesis. So that's going to be -5 times -4b. And we're going to have -5 times -4. So both of those will end up being done. So the left side, nothing changes. I'm actually going to change the color on this. So -5 times -4b. -5 times -4 is positive 20. And then we just bring the b with it. Then -5 times -4 is, again, positive 20. And we just bring down that plus 3. I forgot my equal sign, sorry. So now we've got some like terms on that side, so let's combine those. So the left side still stays the same. 20b stays the same. 20 plus 3 gives us 23. Let's move all our b's to one side. I always like to move mine to the left side, but you do not have to do it that way. So we'll subtract 20b from both sides. That'll give us -15b plus 23 equals 23. Now I'll go back up and start my colors over again. To get rid of the plus 23, we'll subtract 23. Give us -15b equals 0. That's okay. It's fine to have 0. We'll divide both sides by -15. 0 divided by anything is still 0. So there you go. E, same idea. We've got -18 plus 4x equals the -6 times -2x is positive 12x. -6 times -1 is positive 6. Now, we don't have any like terms on either side of the equal sign, so we skip that and start moving stuff around. So let's go ahead and subtract 12x from both sides. So we get -18 minus 8x equals 6. Let's add 18 to both sides. So we get -8x equals 24. Again, don't let this negative sign disappear. It's written minus 8x at first, but when there's nothing in front of it, it becomes a -8x. Then we'll divide both sides by -8. So x is -3. Then for our last two, on these, there's two different places where we have to distribute, but it's done the exact same way. So hopefully we can color code this to keep it separated well enough. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times -3 is -6. And then we just bring that -x down, bring the equal sign down. -4 times x is -4x. -4 times -2 is +8. Now on the left side, those are like terms. So we have 4x minus 1x. That's going to give us 3x. And everything else is going to stay the same. We don't have any other like terms. We'll add 4x to both sides to get 7x minus 6 equals 8. We'll add 6 to both sides. Remember, we're adding because this was subtracting. We're always doing inverse operations. So 7x equals 14. Then our last step will be to divide by 7. So x equals 2. And our last problem for today, 3 times p is 3p. 3 times negative 8 is minus 24, negative 24. 8 times p is 8p. And 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. We'll subtract 8p from both sides. That'll give us negative 5p. Negative 24 comes down. Negative 64 on the other side. Again, don't lose that negative sign. That's probably the biggest place some of you are going to make mistakes, is when you forgot to bring down that negative sign. So just be careful. Our next step, we want to get rid of the 24, so we'll add 24 to both sides. That'll give us negative 5p equals negative 40. And finally, we will divide both sides by negative 5, so p is going to be 8. So that's it for combining like terms and distributing. Again, this is review. I hope this has helped to get your mind in gear. Because it's been a little while since some of you have done this. So get ready for those practice problems next time you're in class. Don't forget to fill out the Google form. Good luck.